Welcome back, everybody. Let's do some drawing. So, I know we're going to jump ship and go straight back to D&D stuff, but yesterday had a phenomenal game of D&D. God, I'm such a nerd. And I just wanted to sort of do a scene, sort of more of an imaginal scene of what was going on after the battle itself. And it was quite a hard one, and most of us died at least once, but still managed to somehow pull through. And it was such a great fight. I thought, oh, need to sort of show what it was like afterwards. And I know that's really geeky, but that's where I'm at today. And so I wanted to sort of show what it was like after the battle. So I've got sort of a little mini sketch of what I'm aiming to do over the next few drawing sessions, and certainly won't get them all done today. And that's here. So my little character Kevin, this is him. I'll show you a little bit better. So that's where we're working to. I've even got a piece of paper because I've noticed that a few videos I've kind of sweated over what I was drawing, which is gross. So today I've decided to put a little bit of piece of paper. Good stuff. So I don't sweat on it, because that's minging. I'm going to leave the eyes, because even though I've kind of got the idea of where I'm going, I feel like it might change. So we've got Kevin, we've got Morgana, we've got Titus, who I drew a few days ago, handing out ales because he's a good dude, and then we got Shade with the whip that we drew the other day. So here we go. It's going to be slightly less sketchy than usual because I don't know, I like to do a little bit less sketchy today. There's lots of details, and I feel like sketchiness sometimes, even though I really enjoy sketchy drawing, I feel like you can lose quite a lot of detail with it. So today a little bit less sketchy, a little bit more defined. See, I love drawing hair, but at the same time hate it, because there's always, I don't know, I always look back at it and think, oh, I could have done it like this, or I could have done it like that. But we'll see how we do. But with a slightly bigger piece of paper and a bigger drawing, we can add so much more details. So I feel like even though we're kind of losing that sketchiness, I think we'll be okay. So I've got this sort of very thick woodland plait on the side of his hair. And because he used to be a barbarian before he went to the green side and became a druid, he's still got sort of remnants of when he was, you know, a berserker. So the skulls and stuff. Which I think is kind of cool that originally he was, you know, this angry lunatic, and now he's just a lunatic, which I think is kind of funny. So yeah, he's got very curly hair. As do I. Right. Well, I suppose it's not really curvy, is it? It's more curvy, more wavy. Alright. What we're trying to do, the royal we, once again, is draw section by section, because I really don't want to put too much pressure on the ink. These are great little pens, the Microns. I like drawing with the sepia colour. Used to be all about drawing in pure black, but one day I accidentally ordered the wrong pen and never went back. remember thinking, oh, can't believe they sent me the wrong pen. And then actually used it, and I thought, well, that's lucky they did. Again, we've got a plan, but I like when things become a little bit more organic. So we'll kind of mix it up as we go along. And we have this hair sort of wrapping back around the other. Oh, a little bit shaky today, so I'm going to have to use that to my advantage at some point. Don't know why. Maybe too much tea. Speaking of which, I hope you all grabbed yourself a nice cuppa. More importantly, I was going to ask some questions about the channel and stuff, but what's everyone's favourite biscuit or cookie? You know, that's the important stuff, isn't it? Favourite biscuit. I mean, if you watch the intro, you know I'm partial to a custard cream, but you know, sometimes I like to mix it up with a bonbon. A jammy dodger. Oh, what am I on about? Right, so it's going okay so far. Just got to make sure I don't get myself stuck with the hair, which I sometimes do. I draw a very detailed little section of hair, but then I realize later on it's like, oh, actually that's not quite how the hair should be. Like this plait is too high up. It should be lower so I can get this hair to wrap around, but we'll figure that out. Oh yeah, and because he's a druid, got loads of leaves and stuff, sort of. It kind of looks like he's just kind of runs through the forest, which usually he has. But I also like the idea that as he's losing his barbaric ways, he's becoming more peaceful and more druidic, which I think is really cool. Again, this was not an idea of my own. This was the DMs, which was really, really cool, actually. Because I'm one of those people that I find very hard to stick to one character. I get so excited about all the different possibilities. I'm like, oh, I want to do this, or I want to do that. Which is quite lucky, actually, because I was playing a fighter, and he was quite a cocky fighter. And our first run-in with the vampire, I thought, nah, no problem, mate. I got it. And Harry was his name. Harry went in and got decimated very quickly. Rolled a natural 1 and a fail on his death saving throws, and was gone. And that was it. I did have a backup character though, which was lucky, to say the least. And that was this year Kevin, a lunatic, which he's been an absolute blast playing, if I'm honest. It's just it's really funny to be the silly character, and I like the serious characters, but there is something really entertaining about playing a character that's just not the full ticket, really. And if any of you know what I'm talking about, you know. It's just nice not being too serious, I feel like life is serious enough. Nice little escape. Sorry if I'm not as rambly as usual. I'm actually trying to concentrate on this one. Well, I always concentrate with this one. in particular. So yeah, I'm looking forward to drawing all the characters, and this is going to change. I feel, someone's already suggested, Titus could be on the floor, like, leaned up against Kevin, and I've got all these bags down here, and I've got the turtle shell, but I don't think we're going to have room to have that in, because I think there's going to be more characters introduced, and I also want the DM here, holding the book, throwing the dice up in the air, because, it's kind of, it's wonderful having a DM, but I always feel sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish they were playing with us, but actually, he's a great storyteller, so I think he's quite happy doing what he's doing, but I think at some point we'll definitely have him in the drawing with us. And I think, if I've got my leaves right, that's kind of like a maple. It's a maple leaf. And then another leaf here. I might put some timestamps. Might put some timestamps in this one, because I feel like it's going to be a long one. So, and also, you can always just jump to the end and see how it went. Not that you should. You should definitely watch all of it and, have a nice cup of tea during the time. But I understand if you're busy. Please do. Nice. We're going to have to also put some sort of 100 subscriber special. So maybe we'll do a little poll or something, because, as we speak, I think we're on late 80s, something like that, subscribers, which is amazing. We've been doing this for a couple of weeks. So just wanted to have a little time just to say thank you to you all. Because obviously it's a little channel, very new, all this, and I've had some of the nicest comments on the videos, and, just taking your time to subscribe and listen to me ramble is, it's kind of weird, actually, wonderfully weird. I had someone say that, they were thinking about, watching me draw and talk and stuff. They're thinking about doing some more traditional work, and honestly, I think that's the biggest compliment I could ever have heard. If my my drawings makes people want to do art themselves, oh, what a win. What a fantastic thing to hear. And with that, thank you to you all. Right, so I'm going to do a little plait. Here. And that kind of wraps around. Yeah, and I hope everyone doesn't mind me kind of exploring the world of our D&D campaign. It's just been absolutely loving it. Hopefully you're going to play some more today. So hopefully I won't have to blank out Kevin because he's been eaten by a giant frog or sat on by a bear or whatever happens in his day-to-day. Let's hope so. This hair's far more wild than I thought it was going to be, and I kind of like it. They've just had a huge battle. They sort of won, but at the same time they didn't. So a little bit more about Kevin. So when Harry, bless him, when he was annihilated by a vampire, his companions Morgana and Shade, they went into the Vallaki woods, and they were traversing for a few hours, and they came into a very dense bit of woodland, and they could smell a fire and stew cooking. So they explored, and they found Kevin, who at the time was gathering hide and leather to sell at one of the nearby towns. And they started talking, and that was it. I was lucky, actually. If I recall, there was a couple of fantastic rolls, very high rolls, persuasion and a little bit of deception. So that made it easier for Kevin to be on board of it. And ever since, they've been a party together. And I haven't really missed Harry that much. Though sometimes the fantastic AC and the ability to kind of do anything on the battlefield at any time is a little bit missed, but not too much. And I think at this point he's also got a broken nose. So he's kind of smirking, but wincing at the same time. You know, given that he's the tank, he's never well off after a fight. Thing I worked out in, with the wild shapes and all the extra healing they can do. He's a druid of the moon, so yes, yeah, I'm one of those. You know what I'm talking about. But so his shifting ability is second to none, and which is lucky because I think some of the fights, I think the worst one I've been out something like 200 and something damage, and the entire time is just me trying to heal myself, which is really fun actually. So this is why the other characters probably won't be as banged up as I am. It's kind of cool. It kind of reminds me of sort of like Dragon Ball Z. Who's that character that kind of looked like Goku? That really cool like cross scar on him. I can't remember now, but kind of reminds me of him. And when I do facial hair like this rather than a beard, I don't want all the hairs kind of being in unison, some, a little bit skew with, some pointing the wrong way. Because I think when you do that and it's too uniform, I don't think it looks quite real. I don't know about you, I've got quite a patchy beard. Not by choice. But same thing for Kevin. Not too sure how old Kevin is in this game either. Maybe late 30s, 40s. Who knows? I don't know if you can hear that, but we've got wonderful storm outside. Just listen to the rain. Oh, the scar there. Not really a scar, but a scratch. Maybe he hasn't had enough time to heal himself, or our ranger to heal. Or maybe he's just enjoying going to the tavern, showing off to everyone. scars. Maybe he's going to try and get a free pint with every scar. He'd have a lot of free pints. Looking alright. It's going to be a very long video, isn't it? I'll have to do a couple of parts. Who knows? It's got a little leather bracelet. It was a gift from before the campaign. So, a little bit of his story there. Can't give it too much because the people I play D&D with might watch this video and then they'd know the background story, so we can't do that. It's gotta be a secret. And there's his thumb sort of, holding his side, either from laughing too much or bruised ribs, maybe. There we go. Nice. And then we've got a strap here that's holding this mask. So the mask was, I don't remember what the mask actually looked like originally, but I found this mask in a hag's house. I think. I might be getting it wrong. And it adds, I can't remember what it was now. It helps constitution checks. So, like saving throws, and whenever you're concentrating on a spell, when you get hit, you have to sort of roll to make sure you're keeping your concentration. So it's been a bit of a lifesaver because it's helped incredibly so far. So he's sort of just like holding himself, that makes sense, his thumb. And so I guess the rest of his fingers would be here, so we could do the lines to indicate that. And that. That didn't turn out as well as I hoped in the sketch, which is weird. But that's okay, we can work with that. A little bit of thread on his shirt. And his sort of ripped, tattered shirt kind of sagging down, like so. And he's got quite a hairy back because, he's a bit feral. Good on you, mate. Like that. And then I guess his pecs would be sort of here. And he's not the most muscular dude. Saying that, he looks like a rugby player from what I've drawn. And then there's his back, which will have lots of hairs. Bit of a wild dude. So yeah, I'll tell you more about the story. So when they found Kevin, he was a Druid of the Moon, 2 levels, and 1 level barbarian. So, yep, he was a barbarian. One of the most hated multi-classes in all existence. But it didn't stop the DM, causing chaos every time with me. Yeah, but they were having a battle with some hags, and he didn't just rage like the normal type of barbarian. He couldn't rage like that, so he had to have this sort of concoction he made, or it was given to him by someone I can't quite remember. And the concoction puts him in a state of rage itself. So that was sort of every time he wanted to rage, he had to take this, concoction of herbs and mushrooms and spices and stuff. But then after the battle, he was struck by lightning, and the DM sort of decided, oh, that's a pretty good way to ruin this powder, because it's just made me having to become more of a natural druid. And I'm really enjoying acting as the healer, even though sometimes I still forget that my role is to heal and support rather than run around hitting things with a big stick. Still forget this from time to time and forget that I'm playing a druid and not a barbarian, which tends to turn out pretty bad for me, actually. That's okay. It's all fun. Nice. Probably add a bit more hair here at some point. I think it needs to come right out. I realise I've done the masking tape maybe a little bit too close, but with that it will be nicely framed if this is straight. Well, it's nearly straight. But I think that'll look really nice when I come back to that and I take it all off at the end, which might be a while, because it's going to be quite a big drawing, and I'm really enjoying drawing slowly and taking my time. A few more scratches, and then can't forget the hair. It's going to be a lot of hair. So where the shirt is kind of pulling against the strap because he's leaning forward, be taut on his back. The shirt's got a little bit of stress lines, like so. And just a few little dashes just to exaggerate that. Might need to do this all in pencil as well to shade it, because I think that would be really nice. Maybe that's what they need. Yeah, that'll do. And then hairy chest. He spends most of his time as either a bear or a giant snapping turtle, which I talked about in a previous video. That he tends to turn to a snapping turtle and just let everyone hit on them while the other characters do the important jobs. At this time, I usually have a cup of tea, and in real life, not Kevin. That'd be weird. And sort of just watch the chaos and enjoy it. It's looking alright. Have to do hair on that one. How's that looking? Oh, we're nearly at half an hour already, and I've done practically nothing. Good job, man. Some stains on his shirt. Who knows what. Alright, cool. Alright. Yeah, very shaky today. I don't know why. Making it a little bit tricky to draw. Right. So this mask I was rambling on about before I forgot what I was talking about. So it helps for my constitution saving throws. So when I'm doing spells, I'm not doing any spells. Kevin's doing spells. Good old Kevin. And when Kevin's doing spells, he can keep the concentration better. Like, I don't know, Spike Grove or Core Lightning. Because we're level We are level 5 now. So I've got some great 3rd level spells. Very D&D focused video today. Yeah, so I think that originally it was a helmet, and the group all decided, before I even really knew what was going on, they were like, yep, Kevin needs this. And I asked the DM, I was like, does it have to be a helmet? Can it be, can it be something more, kind of creepy and wild? And he was like, absolutely. So thus, we have this sort of like, originally in my head it was sort of like a deer skull, but now as I've sort of drawn it a couple of times, it's more, I don't know what it is. It's got elements of like a sheep skull, maybe a little bit of a goat skull, who knows, but most of it is just kind of made up on the spot, just like everything else I draw. And if anyone's wondering sort of for poses and things of that nature, what am I using for a reference? Just so you know, there's no reference, just drawing from imagination, which is why sometimes the drawings don't look quite right. Like simple little things like bracelets and stuff, or just how holes and skulls look. Like, this doesn't look quite right to me, but I can't figure out why. That's because there's no reference used. It's just what I want to draw. A little tooth there that makes no sense, and a little tooth there. Or maybe they're like piercings, maybe. Lots of little lines just there, give a little bit more. Actually, there we go. I can use the shakiness now really well. Nice. And do another strap there. Coming into the strap there. I guess that's the idea of that sort of. So it looks like it's a bit of a mix of straps to hold this mask to his shoulder when he's not wearing it. And then there we're going to do like almost like a ring, like a charm or a tooth. There we go. And then carry on the little lines on the skull. I don't know what they're called actually. What are these lines on the skull called? There we go. So we're almost done with the skull, which I imagine took a while. Yeah. Nice. When you're making it up, you're making everything up, you can just make things fit. It's like, oh yeah. If you were drawing like from reference, which absolutely should, it's much easier. You'd be like, oh no, that doesn't line up with the drawing I've just done. But if you're making it up, it's easier because you can be like, oh, I'm just going to add wherever I want. Yeah, so what I'll do actually at the end of, not this one, because it's going to be, I'm going to have a little rest afterwards, have a cup of tea and get on with my day, but another time I'm going to come back to these and do a nice bit of penciling as the shading, because I think that will look really nice. And also that's something that I haven't really done properly on the channel so far, and that's how I usually work, even digitally. I kind of stick to grayscale, a little bit of black, grey, and that's it. Terrible colour. Absolute shambles with it. Might come back and forth on this one the next couple of days anyway, because I think there's a few little bits that I'm not really sure what to put in to finish off. I don't want to just sort of sit around on the video and have you all listen to me talking to myself. Well, I suppose I am talking to myself the entire time on these videos. Oh, that's a realization. Talking to myself a lot. Getting quite good at it too. Weird. And a few little stitching because probably from another fight, or maybe this is from this fight. A bit of a minimalist? Bit of a minimalist. So doesn't have a lot of clothes, I guess. You know. I'm being a little bit of a leather worker. I guess he's quite happy. Just cleaning up and fixing his clothes rather than them chucking them, getting new ones. He did have about 1,000 gold. And honestly, I've forgotten how I lost it all. Probably bought some magic beans knowing Kevin. Some lines here. That would probably be underneath, so I'm not. Just draw a little bit there. It's just a mask. His shoulder would be about here, and then the arm there. So that's a gap. So I must remember when I come back to pencil, that's just a gap. We're getting quite on this. Maybe I have to be a two-parter. I think I might have to be that. A little vein coming on there. And sort of a little muscular line there. Would be one there. Might be one sort of here. But this is all going to be hair and fur. You know, sort of fur-like. And his fingers. And then his legs, his boots, which are going to be fun to draw because they're just bones and plants and all sorts of things like that. So for now, what I'll do is I'll do this little shirt. I might finish it off there for today. I'll have to do part 2 soon. I don't want to rush, so I'm going to just take my time. I've overshot it anyway by a mile, this video. It's absolutely fine at this point, I think. And this is his shirt, so he's kind of crouched down, so would the shirt be down? A little bit of both, I suppose. Like this. Oh, did one have enough Sunday roast today, I wonder? Well, not everybody, but what everyone's having for dinner. I was thinking about doing a little roast. I haven't done one for a long time. Just fancy. Lots of veg. Cauliflower cheese. That's the stuff. Right, what I might do is finish off the arms now anyway. Oh, you know what? I could do a stitch in there, can't I? Just to show there's a continuation on the outside of the shirt to the inside, like that. That's cool. Where else needs a stitch? I think like here. Not a big one. I'll double up this stitch. Sort of lose it behind the line work there. I will outline all this as well, and I think he needs a bit more hair here. Not much, just kind of a leaf, just to frame it a little bit more. That's okay. I don't really want to put hair here because of the back hair. Ooh, gross. A little bit of an underlid as well. There is. His eyelashes are got quite long eyelashes. And a little bit of a line on his forehead. You know, he's an older chap. And come back and think about something here. It feels a bit empty, but... And then all the hair. So we're going to make a bit of a decision now, because if we bring the hair out, we'll go over these lines. Might have a little think about that before I do any more. So, I hope you enjoyed part 1 of Kevin. And that's that little dude. So, roughly, I did some lining out. So, roughly, he should be about the same size on that piece of paper. But, you know, grown up in relation to the other characters. But the page will stop about there and about here. So yeah, you can see lots more to draw. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this very long, rambly one, and hope you all have a great week. A great week? A great week. Nailed it. Take care. Bye-bye.